the beginning of marriage, after the lovey-dovey is over, you know, when you are calling each other, whatever, when that time is over, it's good to soberly sit down and discuss what are boundaries in case I cross. You should look for professional help. I'm also saying it is not very good for people to make decision like this boundary has been crossed by DK. The next thing tomorrow I'm out, I am moving, because that is a rash decision. You've not gone through the relevant levels. We usually say in stress management, the first thing you can do is to reflect. What was my contribution? What was his contribution? Then the next thing, you look at the lessons. The third thing, you ask yourself what you could have done differently. And if you realize those three things every day or every week you are doing them and you are not progressing, then I need to go and get a peer, a friend, and give them a scenario. I don't have to tell them that this is what is happening. Just try to get that friendly advice and say, siku hizi bwanangu akiingia kwa nyumba kuna vile simfeel, as in I need to do something. They will give you a sober information. It may not be professional advice, but they will help you process. They can ask you questions like, when did it start? What did he do? What is happening in your other world? What are the children doing? Are there major changes that have happened in your life that you feel you have not processed? So they can help you sober up and see beyond the husband. Because if you are only looking at the husband, most of the times you will not see the other contributing factors like the workplace. Probably you are stressed at the workplace. Probably the children, bringing up children. There are seasons. The children, there are two of them there. You are breastfeeding one, the other one is terrible too, and all those things. The environment you are in can be affecting the way you are reacting to each other. So that friend will help you sober up and refocus from the husband and focus to other things that are happening. After that, if still it persists, you agreed as a couple that the next level is for us to go and sit down and hear from a couple. The challenge is most of the time the husband and wife are not on the same page. They are men, the way they were growing up, they are like, you know, I am a man, I can deal. I don't have to hear this information. And such discussions should not, about boundaries should not happen when you're not okay. They should happen when you can still converse. So that at that point, you can make that decision even to go. But kama unangoja ile wakati mmekasirika, that is the time unasema nakupeleka kwa so and so. At that point it will not make sense. So when people are sober, having fun, they should put structures that can help them to keep their boundaries checked. Right now there are so many changes that happen in life. You can have those children, you can delay in getting children, you can have children, you can experience the burden of care. Like for example, our parents have not been feeling well. We have bills for hospitals to pay. What does that mean in our relationship? So changes come on and off. So boundaries are not like here. Whatever we are dealing with now, we will not be dealing it with next year. It will be a new problem. You can be constructing today. You can be buying a car. You can be starting a business. A business can fail, you know? So how do you manage those changes? And if boundaries are crossed, it's very important to have a sober plan on how you can address that. And when I talk about sober plan, it's not where you sit down and write an action plan. No. It's just a conversation where both of you are on the same page.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. DK, on that, she have discussed rightly on how one would realize, Hapa, I'm stressed and these are the things I'll do. Maybe I go talk to my girls and all that. What do you think one can do if you realize your partner now they are stressed and how things are going, it may go wrong? What can you do? Are you able to help them?
Yes, I can. I would say you can. Of course, if you are not the source of the stress. Because if you are the source of the stress, maybe it's even better because you remove the stress. I would say, as we said, now in this marriage relationship, the highest form of relationship, I think if things are working well, I should be the first support system for my spouse. I'm the one who knows what is stressing her. If there is a problem at the workplace, I should be the first person to know that there's a problem. If she's being stressed by the children in one way or the other, maybe one has been falling sick multiple times, or one is not performing well, or any other reason, any other issue. She doesn't have house girls. There are times that you will get a house girl today, after 1 week she's gone. so she has to miss going to work so that she can take care of the housework. Then after 2 days she gets one, after 3 days she's gone. It happens, and this will really stress my wife. So then in such scenarios, then I should be able to kind of come in and be able to address some of those issues and help her. For instance, the issue of a house girl. Luckily I work from home, so there are some things I will be able to come in if there is no house help in the home, to come and help her, so that I ease that stress and that burden on her. I remember I've also offered sometime, I've told her, no, you just, last time you missed going to work, let me take some days off and be here at home to support you, because now she's the only person who is doing it once. Second time, that time even the employer will ask her, hey, you better then resign and go and
take care of your home.
Yes, so in that case I need to come in and offer support there. If there's a problem at the workplace, then what am I doing to kind of help ease off that stress to her? If it's the issue of the two of us, then I think before we even go out, then what am I doing to ensure that am I creating an environment where we can be able to sit down and understand what the issues are. Because one thing I've come to realize in marriage, the things that bring conflict are not major issues. They are very, very simple issues. She mentioned the issue of who locks the door at night. Some have come from families where it's the father who has to go around the compound ensuring that
Everything is in order.
the chicken have been safely in the house. Everything is well. Others have come from a place where the doors are not locked, not closed, or whoever comes last, and the time is not known when the last person will enter the house, other person will lock. So it depends on those dynamics. Those are very simple issues, yet they can cause some form of conflict, because I can say, you are the one who entered last, why don't you do the locking in the house? Then the wife will feel secure when the husband ensures that every place is locked. It's a very simple thing, can be a source of conflict. There is the old, this one I believe everybody has been, everybody who has gone through a counseling has always been told about this, the issue of the socks, that the men enter the house and one sock is there on top of the TV.
You know what is the problem really?
The other one is down there.
Where do they...
It's not a problem. Just a way of, it's just a different way of storing
It is power.
No,
it is power. Don't you think you try to exercise power?
Just a way of doing a different way of storing things. So it's a simple thing, because I can decide to keep my things properly, and it will not cause conflict. But on the other hand, it's a simple thing because you can also decide not to overreact when I do that. You just need to educate me. That's what I was doing for the 25 years before I came into your house, or we came into that house. So please give me some time. I'll be able to adjust. But now if you don't give each other time, they are very simple things, very small things, yet they grow day by day and they become very big. Issues of keeping records. You talked about a checklist. Maybe before I answer that, issues of keeping records. Yesterday you left the socks there. Today you have left it there. I wish you would have left it the same place where you left it, because it would have been easier for me to keep. You have all that record. You can even quote last year what I did. So it's a simple thing. Please delete that bad memory about me. Let's start on a clean slate. So if you continue accumulating those things, then they become a big thing. For a man, why are you also continuing to kind of ignore what your spouse likes? Why are you leaving, putting your socks and anything else wherever you, show some respect. Be organized. A small thing that is about to bring some conflict. So I would say it's in some of those things that we just need to kind of make some deliberate effort. Be conscious of what you're doing, respect your spouse and their space and what they prefer, and they will also exchange the same respect. I think, let me just mention about the checklist, because you asked a question which I don't want to disappear, whether we do have a checklist.
Do men have duty?
Maybe we are not very good in writing. I'm sure for every lady they will have somewhere they have written what they want, and They even don't need anyway to write, because we already know that all they want is tall, dark, and handsome. Don't have to write it. For us, we do also have what we would want in a wife when the time you're looking out for a girl. Unfortunately, maybe because we are visual beings, maybe we get clouded by what we are seeing and not the real character of that person. But I think, like Esther said, she thought it was a joke that all we look for is somebody who will cook for us. Maybe that's the way we put it initially. Any young man will put it, that somebody who will be cooking for me, washing my clothes, but I think all we want is now when you get into a marriage, then you advance, you realize, because kupikiwa utapikiwa. Hiyo ni basic, ama hata mtapata msichana ama whatever. But then as you continue, realize that not the need that you really had. Maybe they will call it, now it's called love language. My love language is service. I want to feel that somebody is serving me. That's the way I feel that they love me. And how do they show it? It's when my wife cooks some sumptuous meal for me. I will feel that I'm loved. I'm appreciated. It's when I'm there and I ask for a glass of warm water and she serves me, then I will feel that I am appreciated. So we do, men do have that checklist. Maybe it's not well developed, but as we evolve, then we are able to put it that this is what I want. There is this misconception, and which I would also want to put. When we talk about love, because even the Bible doesn't say that a man should be loved, a husband should be loved. It's a husband who should love the wife. For a man, they will interpret that you love them when you respect them.
And submit.
Yeah, and now maybe, even though we are not very good in writing it down, we have it in our head that I don't want you to keep on telling me that you love me. Just respect me. Let me feel I'm respected as a head of that home, and I will know that this woman loves me. That's all I will be dying for. So show respect. That's what love is. So don't tell me that you love me. Please just respect.
Wow. You wanted to add something?
Yes, I wanted to add something related to even if men don't have checklists, there are things that makes them feel like a king. Because at the end of the day, they are looking for power. I want to talk briefly about socialization process. If you ask the boys when they were growing up, they had a man they admired. Chances are that man there's a way that man used to dress, there's a way that man used to be addressed by the wife, there's a way that man used to command respect at the society level. There are several characteristics they can look at. And so most of the time, they are trying to act like that man. It doesn't have to be a father, it can be a pastor, it can be an owner of a club, it can be anyone, that figure they have in mind. And so when they get into marriage, they are looking for that power, they are looking at that position in the society. So with that father figure or man figure in mind, the conflict comes if the man or the wife is not able to translate what you're expecting. For example, the expectation may be the service, the other one may be affirmation, the other one may be time. They want, when they come home, all of you, to stop whatever you are doing, you come and meet them. And that is why I mentioned that it is very important in every marriage people to have a place of conversing and fun, so that they're able to give each other feedback and say, I am happy when I spend this time with you. I am happy when you serve me. I am happy when you cook. Even if in a month you cook once, that's part of communication, both from the wife and also from the husband. Because remember, the checklists were different. You never communicated the checklist. You never communicated what you can't live with. So at the marriage now, this is where now you have to normalize everything. That our checklists, let's assume we both of us ticked the checklist for each other. Now, can we communicate for us to spice up our relationship and to reduce areas of conflict? Am I able to tell my husband that I enjoy when you come home early and we send the children to sleep and we have a good time together? I enjoy when we watch movie together, so that back in his mind, he knows that even if that my week is busy, I can spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes with Esther, just hearing nothing from her. So communication again. What makes you happy? What makes you feel like a king? What makes me feel loved? Yes.
Wow. Are there values that you think that men, maybe, I don't know whether traditionally, that people would, just like you were saying about the background where you've come from, do you think there are values that men hold that really can trigger fights and I would want to say that really irritate women? I'm trying to avoid that, but let me just put it as that really irritate women. Like the way you just put it casually, that a man is expecting a woman who can cook, and maybe kwetu mimi hata nimelelewa na wasichana hata sijaingia kitchen, and now you're expecting that I'm the person who, are there things that you think men hold that can cause a conflict in a marriage? Because as women, that is not our thing, but that is what they want.
I would say yes. Same case with women. There are things we hold. You give an example of a door, and you know all of us hold, so there needs to be a place of convergence. So let me give example of things that men hold. Probably is the issue of who will serve the food, who will cook the food, who will receive me when I come home. There are people, if you are in the kitchen, they want you to come running, open the door, hug them, allow them to get, and ask them how their day was. There are others who would expect, you remove their shoes or you pick their bag. There are all those expectations. And most of the time, if that is not communicated, it brings conflict. And most of the time, there is a rule you call 20-80 rule, that your wife will have the 80% what you are looking for in relation to your checklist. But the 20% irritates so much. For example, if you're expecting the wife to be the one who is cooking every day, and she is going to the office, you'll have a challenge. Chances are this 20% that your wife does not have, you will find it somewhere else. You'll either find it with a waitress, you'll find it with in the office. There are those ladies who will go to the kitchen, they will not come with their own tea alone. They will come with their tea and their tea. And most of the times you feel like your wife does not do what you're expecting. But it's only that you're becoming blind. You are forgetting the 80% that your spouse has, and the 20% that she does not have, you're emphasizing by getting it from outside. So especially the aspect of service. I would say most men hold service dear to them. A wise man is who goes to the home and say, my wife cannot cook Monday to Saturday, for example, if you are not coming from that background. But can I negotiate with her and agree that she needs to learn a bit how to cook? And also, you support her alongside that line. And I pity young people, because these days, most of the young girls are the microwave generation. You are the young people who would want to order KFC every day. And they're not cooking ugali, they're cooking spaghetti, the normal food. So the challenge is, if you guys don't communicate, it means that that man will have a miserable kind of life. He may not communicate, but he will always yearn. And a vacuum, usually say if a heart has a vacuum, and you find that gap somewhere else, it is easy for you to. That's where you have cases of, for example, if a lady, her love language is time, and the husband is a top flyer all over. Most of the times you hear they look for Ben 10s or young men who can spend that time with them. For the men, that's why we have some cases of house girl, because their language is service. And you get this Ugandan who bring food and they kneel down and they find out whether you have eaten well. So if there's no communication, the vacuum will be filled by all the 1,000 people we find in this world. Can't be a Kenyan and a Kenyan, can't be somebody who is at this stage of life or somebody who is here, but that vacuum, that 20%, if unchecked and not communicated amongst yourself, or between yourself, you will end up filling it with the wrong people. There are people who during lunchtime don't eat in a different hotel because they enjoy being served by a specific waitress. And most of the times it's because their love language is service, and that service he has not communicated to the spouse at home.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think there are values that ladies hold that quite irritate men and can bring conflicts?
Yes, there are those values. Maybe I will not say Okay, they do, but they shouldn't irritate. Because if I want something and it's something that is possible to be done, it shouldn't be a cause of irritation to you. We should try to adjust and be able to offer. Same case with me, or with men, whatever women value, then they should at least make some effort to fulfill. Having said that, I think there are many, because like we said, we don't have a long checklist. Ladies do have a long checklist. So the more you have, the more you maybe at times experience frustration. Like we started by saying, love brings some form of expectation. So because we in love expect something, because we in love you expect something from me, if it's not met, then it's a source of conflict. Ladies, she's mentioned about time. Something that you will always mention, that you're not, as a man, you're not giving them enough time. And as a man, they will wonder, I came at home at 6 p.m. I have been there in my laptop, you were next to me there with your phone. We slept in the same bed, we left at 6 a.m. So what other time are you talking about? And to men, they don't really understand what is this time that you're talking about. Of course, that's where now communication comes in, so that I'm not saying time when you are dead asleep there, then you are as good as not there. I mean when you are there, sitting down, looking at each other, saying something or saying nothing. But at least this time dedicated for me. They call it me time.
Yes.
Me time. So these are very difficult thing for men to process. Because for men, they want, and maybe I don't know where, when we also ourselves men form maybe groupings of men. We expect somebody who's calling us to have some very serious agenda. Otherwise, we will not come there this month, the next month for merry-go-round kind of things. It doesn't really appeal to us, doesn't make sense. Or when I come to that meeting today, tomorrow I see I'm not really seeing solid reason why I should be there, then I get bored. So the same case even in marriage, men fail now to appreciate what is this me time. What are we actually exactly coming to discuss? Is it finances? Is it children? So when I hear that we just coming just to be together, then the answer is even at night we were together the whole night. So I think then communication is important there, so that somebody you just let that person appreciate. Just like we would also want to be understood why I want her to cook and serve me, whereas the same services can be offered by a house help, but I appreciate when she does it. So in the same case here, then I should be made to understand. We should have a conversation so that I'm able to appreciate what is this that you want. When you talk about affection, and you want me actually to go ahead and verbalize, in the morning I love you, in the noontime I still love you, in the evening nothing has changed, I still love you. So this is something that ladies hold dear, and they want to either I text or I call to just confirm what I said in the morning, that it still holds, that I love you. So this is something that ladies will appreciate. But to men, you can also see that I love you. What have I done, or what have I done to show that I don't love you? So those are things that then people need to have continuous conversation, be together, so that you end up appreciating. If I tell my wife I love you and I see the reaction, the way it's good, the way that day she will now serve me, then I'm motivated to do it more and more. So I think with time then you end up appreciating what she loves, she will end up appreciating what I love, for a harmonious marriage.
Wow.
But maybe I can also say it's also important, and I think she mentioned the very important thing. Where we come from has a very big bearing on the way we relate. And that's why it's important that both of us also kind of, the person that you got, understand their background and appreciate that, and don't be in a hurry to push them to come to your side or to what you want, to the side that you want. You've talked about you take a lady who has been brought up in a family where they take KFC whatever for supper and lunch. For sure that person will not be, you not expect that they will come and overnight they'll start cooking for you. It will be a journey. So please be patient with that person. The same case with me. I was joking and telling my wife I celebrated my first birthday courtesy of her in our marriage. So I had never really had an occasion to celebrate my birthday. So that has two aspects to it. That number one, I also tend to forget that it's her birthday. And
You also don't react well.
number two, exactly, that's the second thing. Number two, whether she remembers mine or she doesn't, whether she makes all the effort to bring the best cake in this world, then she shouldn't expect that I will say hallelujah because you've done it. And now that's a family, that's a background.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't mean that I should remain there. Because I should also be learning and I should be learning, and it's a learning journey. But definitely, then she will also not expect that the way she appreciates the same way I'll appreciate. So that understanding is very important, so that you move together.
Wow.
Let me just add something about that, because we don't want to leave it at that point of getting irritated. What are you doing as a family? Marriage has seasons. You have seasons of being very happy, seasons of getting you are okay, you are not fighting, but it is just there. As a couple, it's very important to create a bridge for the other person to cross to your side. If the expectation was from the wife is the husband to spend quality time, the change cannot happen overnight. I should extend grace to my husband when I realize he's coming home early, and probably he want to have his TV off, and my wish would be he has his TV on, or something like that. Allow him to grow gradually. If the wife does not know how to cook, for example, we are just giving an example, the husband should extend grace to allow her to learn. If it's the issue of affection, create a bridge for the other person to learn. The challenge comes in when the spouses treat each other like it is a military camp or it's a police. I'm waiting for you to do a mistake so that I'll pull my black book. You did not remember my birthday last year. You did not, So where is the place of forgiveness? Where is the place of allowing the other person to compromise and come towards you? Where is the place of feedback? Because sometimes the person can make effort to come home early, but the way you react to that person, ulikuja umeshinda kwa simu, na pengine that person used to come home very late, there is effort. Where is the place of cheering the other person so that they can cross and come to your side? So spouses should find ways of creating a platform for the other person. Work towards making your marriage work, but not taking the other person away from you. Yeah.
Wow. What a discussion, what a time, what a moment. I want to bring this discussion to conclusion, and I want us to end it by maybe asking ourselves, now at what we've discussed, all that he can do for me so that I improve where I'm finding I'm stressed, or what I can do for myself so that I improve where I'm stressed. But now, at what point would you advise someone that ikifika ni hapa now, or rather, let me just ask, would you those people who are from your counseling profession and also from your Christian background and your knowledge that you have had in marriages, are there situations that now we can say this one tusigoje tena, let people now go the separate way, or you believe that every situation should mimi nafaa kujaribu kumsaidia kabisa up to the time ataweza, ama there is at what point now do we say hapa we advise you, let's take a break, like you're saying mtu arudi kwao ama mtu such, at what point? But even before you answer me that, you said one of the things to do is to have friends, and I've just remembered one person who told me that the husband told her, if you stop ilisema na Kikuyu, I'm trying to translate ishara, what do I call it? If you stop the company of so and so, this kind of group, like you're saying the chama and all that, that's the time our marriage will work. So the husband had a problem with the kind of, there are many women who say, when my husband goes out to hang out with the boys, they call them boys, he comes, he's made more worse than she is. He is. So now, how do we bridge these threads that you're able to appreciate my friends? Ama do I now lean to my husband? Hapendi nikiwa na marafiki, so he should be my friend and I should lean there.
Let me say mental health. Your personal mental health is your responsibility. Whatever will make me to be okay should be my responsibility. For example, if I know in my marriage I'm going through stress, I should find ways of dealing with my stress. It's not supposed to be my husband's responsibility. Let me start there, because sometimes there is blame game in marriage that bibi yako amefika hapa ukiwa wapi. And you know, we don't know what you have been doing. Probably there's something you have been doing, but sanity responsibility is a personal responsibility. After I've said that, it's very important for me to say that you should have authentic people. Authentic people don't have to be found in chamas. And the discussion, I would say such conversation is happening when people are already agitated. I say discussions about boundaries, discussions about who I can talk to should happen when people are sober and they are happy. Like my husband should be able to know, oh, Esther akifika hapa, I can talk to her girlfriend. Akifika hapa, I can talk to the pastor. So boundaries should be discussed not when people are angry. So the issue of you should not talk to so and so comes up at the wrong timing. So the timings of discussion is very important. So I want to give levels. I don't want to tell people they should quit their marriages. But I just want to give the 3 levels and the 4 levels that I said at the beginning. The first thing is where I do reflection and I confirm that the way I'm looking at things is not okay. Sometimes I need time out. Time out does not mean that I need to go to my mother. I just need to go and spend my time out. For men, probably they just need to go watch football. They need to go for prayers or whatever self-care. There's something I call self-care. Self-care is something that helps me refill my emotional cup so that I can be able to give my children, I can be able to give my husband, I can be able to serve my church and my community in the right way. So that everybody should know how they refill their cup. There are those who refill by writing, others they go for swimming, for gym, others they go for stories, motionnaire somewhere, they go for coffee. Whatever helps you refill your cup. It's very important for you to know as a person. For men, most of the time, there are those who would want to go for football. There are those who take their drink. There are those who, there are others who journal. There are those who like running. Whatever works for you. Nobody will come and dictate that this self-care works for. It is not a one-size-fits-all. It's for you to know, when I do this, when I go for swimming, I feel okay. When I go and meet Susan, we have a coffee, I feel okay. Rejuvenate. The second thing is, as a marriage, you should know how you refill your cup together. We said we are 2 broken people who are coming together. So you should know that if you see signs that you are colliding so much, there is that thing you do together to create the bond. There are those who would say that every week we need to do a coffee together. Not discussing our children and all that, but checking on each other. There are those who would say we need to go a walk, we need to go do a nature walk, we need to go climb this mountain. As a couple, you have to create a routine of doing things together. That way, you refill your cup as a family. The third thing is where you ask yourself, in case we are having issues, what should I do? As a person, I can choose to go talk to my girls. He can choose to go talk. At this point, I want to talk about authenticity and issues of confidentiality. Sometimes when people tell you don't talk to so-and-so, we put a wall. We don't give reasons. It's very important. If I tell my husband I want to go and talk to Daniel, or if he tells me stop talking to Daniel, he should give me reasons. He should tell me this person cannot keep confidence. This will become a village story and things like that. So have sober conversations. Where do you think I'll be safe? If I feel my husband go to DK and the next thing they will go take a drink, or they go to Naivasha with other girls and all that, I should be able to communicate. I am not happy when you go. Most of the times, like I said, it is the blame game. I'll start saying, you go with so and so, you go. You should express what you feel if he go with so and so. It's not about him. It's about your relationship. The next thing is, if the friendship is not working, I am a believer of support system. I always tell people, when you are in a space, and you are with other people, they help you normalize a problem. I want to give an example. There's a time we were in a group, and when people started discussing the issue that I am discussing, couple 1 is discussing, couple 2, couple 3 is discussing about time, all the men are like, oh, so our wives are there? Safe. You normalize the problem. After you have normalized the problem, you can be able to address and discuss what are some of the preferred practices that you can do at your household, and they will help you address that issue. That is the peers. The next level is, there are those people who believe about mentors, people who have been in this journey. If you are married for 7 years, you go to Daniels and they have been there for 16 years, chances are they have seen or they have experienced, not at the same magnitude that you have experienced this issue. So you go to them, you hear them out. That does not mean you cut and paste and go discuss it, because our contexts are different, but they will talk sense in you. The other thing is going to church. We have pastors, and I believe the churches have counselors who can provide. The other thing is to go to the professional counselors. Can people pay for counseling, or can you get volunteer counselors who can talk to you? The other issue is the family, and that is if the family is sober. I don't want to say if I go, if I take my husband to my family will be sober. Then my family will be sober in terms of arguing, especially where issues of investment. Go to a sober family where they will not take side, where they have best interest of that marriage. If it is the issue of narcissists, that is the only time I would tell people, narcissists and people who are putting your family in jeopardy, at that point you can call it quit. But I would say try all the avenues, create the avenues, but you have to know that at the end of it all, even as you create avenues, your sanity is your personal responsibility. Anything that will affect your sanity, you should know how to deal with it. I'm not saying quit, but put and look for the avenues where you can still restore your marriage.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think on the same?
Yeah, maybe I would just also want to add, number one, I know for men at times it's difficult. I've had cases where the lady wants to seek help, but the men are not willing. And maybe partly it's because, like she has said, you want to seek help when we are already in a problem. So I think for those marriages that would say they are working, that are standing, it's already important that you have clear, you've put, umeweka mikakati mizuri, you already have that support system, somebody we can always confide to, so that in case there is a problem, we have no problem talking to. Otherwise, if you running around looking for somebody to talk to when you're already in the problem, chances are the man will see unaenda kumstaki huko, and they will not open up. But if this is something that has been happening here, whenever we have good things, these are the people we share with. Hata wakati kuna mambo mabaya, then these are the people by default we'll end up sharing with. I would maybe veer off and also say, just mention, we are right now living maybe in different, I would not call them difficult times, but some different times from the times that our parents lived in, where the position of man in the house was unchallenged. And it was unchallenged because either he was the sole breadwinner, or at least he was the one who was providing the fact, he was providing that environment. We would say that, or it was known that the lady is coming from her place anaenda kwa mwanaume. So shamba, husband's shamba, whatever. So the man kind of had that authority, power and authority. And we said men and power, they are synonymous. Now the times we are living in, these things have changed. We're talking about a period where we have girl empowerment, the girl child empowerment. And so I would say it poses a certain challenge, number one, to the man who feels like their position is challenged, but also number two, to this girl who is empowered, it's also a challenge to her in this sense. For my mom back at home, she was happy to sit back and the father to make the provision and provide for the home. But nowadays, as I struggle on this side, my wife is also struggling on the other side. Alafu jioni tupatane. She's expected to take care of the children. Of course, I'll do it, but naturally she's the one who will kind of be driving things za nyumbani. Na usisahau wameshinda wapi? Kazini, akiteteshwa na boss. And maybe the boss is a man who feels threatened by this empowered girl. All right? So it's a challenge to both ways. My position as a man is challenged. The lady who is empowered has now a new, she's also in some uncharted waters that she's trying to navigate. So in that sense, then we need to help each other. We need to help each other. If it's the issue of finances, which is one of the major causes of conflicts, it needs to be managed well. Let people talk. Be open. Let her know how much I earn. Let him know what I earn. Otherwise, she will be putting some demands on me without knowing. Anafikiria niko huku, kumbe mshahara wangu iko hapa, because I don't want to disclose to preserve my position as a man. Then on the other hand, na yeye ako na hiyo stress that she's going through as a result of the empowerment that she's a working class. That's an empowerment, but it has its own challenges now at home. So I have kind of to plug in and be able to support her for us to be able to have a working relationship. So we, in that sense, then we need to work more than our parents worked together. If they worked together, then we need to double it or triple it, and support each other, be there for each other, have clear communication lines, seek help. You're asking when we should seek this help. I think we've said before even trouble comes, let's already open those lines that we can always talk to a friend whenever there is a problem. But then that line, I would say, kind of threatened, whether physically or otherwise, then I think it's the time that then I would say is I mean, you need then to take care of yourself. We have seen cases of people who have taken other people's lives. Then you don't want also to stick in that marriage if your life is threatened. But like she has said, this is not a call for people to run away out of, to move out of the marriage. Just satisfy yourself that you have done what it takes to ensure that this marriage works. As I always say, marriage works when two people are willing to let it work. There's a mentality at times when you're in it and you think if things are not working, naweza ishi peke yangu, kwani iko nini? So with that mentality, then you don't give the marriage some time and a chance to work. But if I'm willing and ready to work and learn in this marriage, and in the same case the other person is willing and ready, then there's always a way that people find a common solution. I normally joke with my wife, namuuliza ni nani alibadilika, ni mimi nilichange ama ni wewe? Because we also had that list of things that were not really working, and at times we feel now I'm tired. Nikiangalia sionangi kama alibadilika. Na mimi sijui kama nibadilika. But I think we learned then to appreciate the person, the way that person is. She has learned to understand me and appreciate the way I am, that you will not come and change me overnight, that I will not change her overnight. And with that, somehow you find a way, a common ground to move things. Because
I want to say what changed. What changed is you added the space for spicing up the marriage. I think we have become very busy. We are looking for funds and for money to fund our lifestyle, and we are neglecting the marriage part. So my call to all people is that find a space for fun and for spicing up your marriage, even as you think on how to deal with who will live and who will stay. Get a place for fun in your marriages.
Wow. Thank you very much, my guests. I don't know if any of you have any closing remarks before we switch off the cameras. Is there something that you feel that maybe you would wanted to say that we have not mentioned? Maybe I would start with you, DK.
Not anything new, just to once again reiterate that marriages work, and so nobody should fear that it's a death sentence. It's not. Actually, it brings more life. It's fun, it's enjoyable, so long as you have the right attitude.
Right attitude.
I think for me, I would say there are changes in life that come, and there are seasons in marriage. Brace yourself for all the seasons. Just like you go to school to read about other things, invest in terms of learning how you should cope with all the seasons of marriage.
Wow, guys, I don't know what you have learned. I hope you have learned a lot. Personally, I've learned that even of the worst cases, because he have said that what he think need to be checked is when someone comes and becomes, maybe start becoming physical. She have also said that what needs to be checked, what now they would term serious cases that would at the worst warrant separation, is when your sanity is threatened, your mental illness is threatened. But even in that, they have given solutions that you can still work on it. Even when he hit you, it's not like that is the end of it. We can still work on that. Even when your sanity is threatened, she has still given a way out that it can be worked out of it. So I believe that this is an enlightening moment, that we don't have to end marriages. Marriages works, and the worst of it all can be resolved and can be worked out. So thank you once again. Thank you for coming.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate your time. Thank you very much. So for now, guys, please subscribe, share this information to those people, and you don't know who needs to hear this, so share widely. Let us build a healthy society by having working marriages. Bye.